Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of your faithful trip. It started in the firmament, and then we all got tricked. Life was great when we were young, with all the things we believed. Then it all got hard, unbearable, and we know we're being deceived. Forgotten, ignored, secret and hidden, topics that talk about how water is knowledge. Now drink from the fountain, let's pour some on you now.
So here we are tonight. We're back at the Bell of Taco outside, looking at the logo, noticing that it looks kind of pink, you know? Do you see the number 6? Do you see the slitted pupil of the yellow pupil inside the bell? It's supposed to be the dinger of the bell, but somehow it became a slitted pupil. And let's see, if we back up, you can see the roof line there. See that white roof line? Represents an eyebrow. If you've ever seen the Egyptian symbol of the Eye of Horus, that would be the Eye of Horus. It's an eye underneath an eyebrow. So why is it Egyptian? Because it represents Mystery Babylon, and it represents the mystery school. And let's see, if you look really close in here, I'll fill up the whole screen with it. Do you see that red line there? Oh, it just got really red. That is a 6. You see the 6 inside the bell? I don't think that's a mistake. Some people say actually this bell resembles, if you look at it in kind of an adult fashion, it looks like a condom that's about to be unrolled with the reservoir tip. I've seen that in a lot of comments. Let's look at these lights here. See that? See the hourglass shape around the lampshades? But what is that on the lampshade? That right there, Señoras y Señora, is a square and compass, and it's on both sides of the door. So you got square and compass on both sides of the door. So you have an Egyptian symbolism of an eye underneath the eyebrow of Horus, which people have noticed also resembles the anatomy of the brain. If you look at the brain, the pineal gland, and the medulla oblongata that goes down into that J shape. If you look up the Egyptian original symbol of the Eye of Horus, it's actually what some people say is a cross-section, midsection cut of the anatomy of the brain and a representation of the pineal gland and the medulla oblongata, which is also found in Michelangelo's painting where God's finger is touching Adam. Okay, so there's a lot of symbolism here. There's a lot of mystery school in these corporate logos here. I don't think it's any accident there. There's no G in the middle, but that is a compass and a square, so that is the Masonic symbol. It's on this store here, the front. Let's go to the front side. Now, this would be the front door of the restaurant. And pine trees. Can't see that one. But look, there's the white roof line. It's definitely an eyebrow symbolism. But look, it's got the same lampshades with the same geometric shapes on the lampshade. But they're cut out into that lampshade so that the light comes out through the etching of that 90-degree square and that compass, which I believe is at about 33 degrees the way it is set at its angle. The only difference from what you see all the time is there's no G in the middle. The eyebrow and the bell. Now, if I were to go around through the drive-thru, I would see that eye again, but I'm not going to do that. If I'm walking here, you'll notice. Now, notice the dinger inside the bell. It's yellow, and it looks like a pupil, and it looks like an eyeball. But I ask you, what animal, what phyla of animals have yellow pupils? Could it be reptilians? Yeah, and they're slitted. And look, it's actually slitted. So why is it that that pupil has a slit in it? And why is it that the red ring inside the bell just happens to be a 6? And why is it that the doors on this restaurant are 3. If you include the drive-in window, which they've also got, if you look on the order menu in the drive-thru, there's the eyebrow symbol. Some of you might think, well, this is no big deal. So they, you know, it's owned by Masons and they put their symbolism on there, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean there's anything odd in the food or but at the same time, you want to ask yourself, why? Why is it necessary for someone who bought this restaurant or created this division of this restaurant in this area to provide the symbolism on the building and put it in plain sight for everybody to see? What is going on? Are we surrounded absolutely by symbolism and things that we don't understand, or that perhaps we don't even recognize or see? Do you know how I first saw this? One day, near here, about 3 miles away, there's another restaurant like this one. And I was walking out of the door of a popular warehouse, or let's say depot, where you buy things for the home. And I walked out the door, and I had just been studying Egypt and symbology and Egyptian symbols and Freemasonry on the internet and social media, and I looked across the parking lot, and out by the freeway was this restaurant, and I immediately noticed that roof line as an eyebrow of Horus. It struck me as an eyebrow of Horus. Now you can say it's not, but I would challenge that with all of the other symbols that are present and messages, you know. So what's going on? Why is it so important? What is it being shown to us? What's the message? And what do we want to see? What are we being programmed with when we come here and we recognize these symbols and we see them as a place where we come to eat tacos? And you might say Mexican food, but in Mexico they don't eat this stuff. They don't eat hot food. You know, I've done a lot of business in Mexico City. They do not like spicy food. The only people in Mexico that like spicy food are the norteños, the ones that live in the north, the ones that live near the border of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. They're the ones that like the spicy food. But most of Mexico, not at all. It's not popular at all. So this menu is actually different than what you would find nationally in the country of Mexico, if you want to call this a Mexican food restaurant. But we ask ourselves, why? There you go again. There's the bell. So how many 6s are on this property? There's one here on this sign with the yellow, let's say, reptilian pupil in the pinkish red reservoir condom. Then there's another one there, and there's one that I started this video with on the door on the other side. I don't believe there's a symbol above the drive-thru. If we went around to the other side, there's not a symbol there. All I want to show you folks, I didn't learn this from anybody. I didn't find a website that showed it to me. It wasn't pointed out to me. Nobody revealed it. It wasn't a whistleblower in architecture that designed this for the corporation. Now, if you look on the drive-thru site, they have the eyebrow roof line, but there's no bell. But there are still 3 6s, 4 if you count both sides of this sign. So you got plenty of 6s, the eyebrow, the compass, the square. What about the colors, you know? Those just look like typical Mexican colors to me, that nothing special, but it's enough. It's enough to wonder what it's about. And it makes you go, Some of you might remember the Arsenio Hall show, and he would say, he would put his finger on his temple, which is also a Masonic sign, by the way, and go, things that make you go, as they pop out in front of you and pop into your reality. As you're being shown things in plain sight, your brain may say, like mine did, or it might not, and you just go with it, and you recognize the symbols, and you live with them, and you like them. Now, whether or not that programs you or does anything detrimental to your life, I don't know. I can't tell you about that. But we can only speculate. You know, what is the deal? You know, when you talk about what other symbols do you see? Like, you know, you look at Exxon, you see the double cross, the double X. Toyota, the rings of Saturn. You know, everything's about the black cube, the black sun, the black hole sun, the rings of Saturn, like a swoosh, like a Nike symbol. Or how many companies have the symbol of a cube? Yeah, just a cube, or any kind of circle around something. How many corporate logos have eyes, like CBS? You know, if you look at the North Pole of Saturn, just Google right now, image of North Pole of Saturn, and you'll see a hexagon. Now, a hexagon is really a two-dimensional cube, because you can take what you would call, like, say, the Mercedes-Benz symbol upside down and put it inside the hexagon and imagine a cube. Now, where do you see cubes in the world? Like, let's say within religion, where is the Dome of the Rock? And what is the Dome of the Rock? It's a cube. You know, I was on vacation in Venice, in downtown Venice. There's a cube. In California, in Silicon Valley, you've got black cubes. The structure that was in between the Twin Towers in New York was a cube. The high priest of Palestine actually strap a leather cube to their head with prayers inside of it and have a black cube on their head. In music, you have songs like the Black Hole Sun, the Black Sun. It's all about Saturn. You know, Saturn is actually a brown dwarf. It's a ball of gas. It's not a solid. The moons and the rings of Saturn are solid. And actually, people have traced them now. If you look at the rings of Saturn, just like lines in the sky, you have these vehicles that appear to be going around the rings of Saturn, making more lines within the rings. So there's some kind of beings or activity that are actually in the rings of Saturn. And all of this is known as the Saturnian black cube, Kaaba. And another name for God would be Allah. And when you say Kabbalah, it's the cube God. Has anybody heard of the cube God? Or maybe let's say the word Kabbalah, or maybe shortened to Kabbalah. Anybody worshiping Kabbalah or has, let's say, red wristbands or worships Kabbalah? This all ties together, folks. It goes into your corporations, it goes into your government, it goes into your religions, it goes into your history, it goes into your astronomy, your solar system, your music. And this is only part of it. So when we point out what's going on here, it's only part of it. It's not the whole picture. It's only part of the picture. So anyway, thank you for coming to Plain Mundane Show. My name is Alex Aquarius, and you have a great day. And please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. But don't ring this one, even though it looks like the one on YouTube. Hey, wow, I just discovered something completely new. Oh, holy, please subscribe. Bye.